Welcome to Clever Classroom IT. My name is Phil Mellifont, and in this series of Clever Classroom IT, we'll be looking at a range of issues that are relevant to schools to do with technology and learning. We want to look at teacher professional development, identifying the hardware and software in your school, and a whole range of issues with invited guests that will challenge the way that you think about technology and learning in school and at home. Last program we looked at some Hyperstudio use in secondary, and I'd like to welcome back Ron Van Vliet from the Catholic Education Office. Welcome, Ron.
Thanks, Phil. Nice
this week we're going to quickly have a look at how teachers can build a stack with Hyperstudio.
Certainly, a few advanced techniques. We have a little stack here which is a sample, something perhaps suitable in the Year 7 geography course. A little bit of a game almost, where popping on a button pops up some questions, and as we click on a particular country to try and find which country relates to that flag, and obviously it's not going to be Germany, but a little message popping up to say that. And when we click on England here, which is obviously the correct answer, it pops up with a little bit of applause in the background to say, well done. So we'll just go and have a look at how to create some of those. I've set up some of the little icons already. One of the first things I would do if I'm going to create any stacks is set myself up as an experienced user, because that will give me the opportunity to change a number of settings about some of the particular objects.
So you get more options.
That's right, yeah, and much more control. So I get this little features button, which wasn't available previously. So I'll just quickly whack in a little background here so that we actually have something to click on. And these are the ones which are supplied with the program when you install it. And you can create buttons of all different shapes in Hyperstudio. I'm going to create a button which is going to fill in to a particular object. And the shape I'm going to fill into is England. So we've clicked in here to England. Now I can give that button an action, and the action I'm going to give it is what's called a new button action, which simply means that when I click on it, I want it to do a particular thing, in this case called hide show. And I have to tell it what it is that I want it to hide or show. In this case, it's going to be
a message?
Well, it's going to actually be the name of the particular item, which in this case is text box called correct, and it's going to flip it. And I can also give it a little opening effect and a closing effect, but I won't do that now. And I might just give it to play a sound as well when I do that. And the sound I'll use is the applause sound. So now when I go back and play it, and click on this, it'll pop up that little text box down here.
Correct. And a round of applause.
And a round of applause. Okay.
So some advanced techniques with Hyperstudio. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have with me Carolyn McCormack from the Department of Education and Training. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you, Phil.
And you've been doing some work with the new version of KidPix Studio Deluxe, I understand.
Yes, I have. KidPix is a junior painting and presentation tool with a variety of applications that you can see here. We've got the Wacky TV, which allows us to view movies or include movies into a slideshow. Slideshow we'll talk about in a little bit detail later. We've got KidPix, which is your junior painting and drawing environment. And the benefits of that are that the children can see the whole screen at once. They don't have to scroll, so what they see in front of them is what they get. That's right.
Great.
The interface is very graphical and easy to use, as you can see. We've got Slideshow, which allows us to put all of the applications to create some kind of presentation. Moopies, which are similar to KidPix drawing environment, but it has animated stamps, so lots of great effects can be created there. With the Stampomator, you can animate your own stamps. So you can make them
design your own animated stamps?
Design your own animated stamps, and it's just as simple as clicking and dragging. So it's very user-friendly for kids. And the digital puppets, they're puppets that you can animate again by using keyboard commands.
Okay, so we've got a whole suite of graphic tools that we can use.
Absolutely. And the great thing about KidPix is it leads children from a junior type of paint and draw program very easily into more sophisticated ones.
Okay, so what would you like to show us first?
Okay, well, we've got a little slideshow here to show today that will demonstrate all of the applications that we've just talked about. Now, this slideshow was put together by an 8-year-old.
Okay.
And as I said, she's looked at all the different applications, and she's also included digital photos in here.
Great.
So it can support all of those things as well.
So let's have a look.
Okay.
Australia
So you can see she's used background and stamps there and recorded her voice.
By Emily Johnson to Ed.
And here we've got the digital image and her fonts there.
There are many animals that can only be found in Australia. They are native animals.
Of course, in that one, she's used stamps and the drawing tools.
And I see there are kangaroos.
There are kangaroos. There are some Australian things in there, which is good to see. This is a moopy. You can see that she's animated her stamps down here. And this is the Stampomator. So she's made the little koala climb up the tree with her animation. And here she's copied
carry their babies in a pouch. They can jump a long way and their tails are very strong.
This is an image she's taken from another CD, so that it supports that. The great thing about this is when the children record their sound, they get instant feedback, so they can adjust what they're saying, and they'll start evaluating the way they sound themselves, which is
I guess
terrific.
unlike getting up and speaking in front of the class where it's hit or miss and they don't really get feedback, they're getting instant feedback.
Instant feedback here, that's right. So it really addresses those talking and listening part of the English KLA very well.
Okay. And it's very public, isn't it? You know, in the sense that you could have multiple children working on a project, or they can share their project with a small group or the whole class. That's
right. That's what I love about KidPix, that it lends itself to either a single user or, as you say, the whole class contributing to make one of these types of slideshows, which is fabulous. And it really encourages that cooperative learning.
Okay. So we've got a few minutes on it. Have you got something else that you'd like to show us with KidPix? Or we can talk about how it might be used in the curriculum.
Absolutely. It's applicable right across the KLAs. Teachers can use it to create worksheets that the kids can do on screen. You can lock up those worksheets so they can't they can just add in their answers, or of course they can use them to print them out. It can be, it's really only limited by the teacher's imagination. It works particularly well in English KLA for the different text types, particularly recounts, so the children can create a slide for each part of the story and retell it. For narratives, terrific for narratives, and for procedural and instructional text. And what it lends itself to doing, particularly with those procedural texts, is breaking them down into bite-sized pieces, so each slide becomes one of those instructions. And that very nicely lends itself to children learning to understand the different, or the process that they have to go through to do something.
So perhaps very quickly, if I was a teacher and I've got 1 or 3 machines in the classroom and the school has just bought KidPix, how can I start a project? You know, where do you think I might begin? Have you got any clues for me?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I'd begin by giving the children time to play with it to start with, getting to know what the tools are and what they do. If we can just quickly go out of here and into the drawing environment, they need some time to explore these things, so they are aware of what's available to them. So I'd give them some time to play, and then I would set them, or the way I've done it is set little assignments, if you like, using particular tools. The kids love to go to the stamps, of course, because they're instant gratification and they look instantly great on the screen, and kids will stamp away forever. So I like to give them tasks to do where they're using particular tools to create it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time today.
That's a pleasure, Phil.
We have with us again Sean and Anthony from Ep3a. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ep3a, the program, it's a rental program for students and teachers so that they can rent notebooks and technology. I wonder whether we could talk about the benefits of rental.
Well, actually, Ep3a's a lot more than just a rental program, Phil. Ep3a provides the end user, be it a teacher or a professor or lecturer at university or a parent or a student, with a choice of computer packages, including software, hardware, internet connection, insurance for notebooks, etc. It allows that end user to choose the product and then choose a finance structure, the finance being a rental. So it's more or less do it yourself. The end user gets to select their package and then choose their finance structure. And they can do it all from the comfort of their home, or they can do it over the phone, they can do it by fax, or they can do it by the internet, or come along to one of our dealers.
So Sean, as head of sales out in the field, what has the feedback been from students, teachers and parents?
Yeah, it's very interesting, Philip. We've noticed just over the last few months there's been an incredible change in how parents and teachers are perceiving technology. I think they're becoming far more educated in their understanding of how rapidly technology is changing and how they need to keep up with that change, and especially their children need to keep up with that change.
So it's all about having the right technology at the right time?
Absolutely. I mean, no one wants their child to be left behind. That's the key. And that's the whole idea behind Ep3a, is apart from being affordable, it's flexible enough that people can keep their children up to date with the technology.
And I think these days most people would be far more interested in paying a small amount each month for the technology that they take with them than having a big cost and then working out what they're going to do with the machine 2 years down the track.
For sure, especially keeping in mind that 2 or 3 years down the track the machine's virtually worth nothing. So who wants to own something that really is worth nothing after 2 or 3 years?
Ep3a. Sean, Anthony, thank you.